And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the TGIF edition of the Real Estate Show. That's right, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's sunny South Florida, and thank God it's finished. It's been a bumpy and tumultuous and action-packed week here on the Real Estate Show, and out there in the world as a whole. So we have a lot to cover in our weekly wrap up here today. We've got some new information that we want to share with you. We got a list of our workshops to announce for the coming week, and a whole bunch more stuff as we go on. Remember, our mission here at the Real Estate Show is to empower and educate more of our listeners here. Whether you're listening to us on the AM 1470 station on the Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN. Whether you're listening to us on the FM dial at 96.9 and 95.3, or whether you're on the go, downloaded one of the free apps like the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the Spreaker app, and that's just a beginning of the list. There's lots of these apps. If you look up radio apps to listen live, but probably the most famous one there is the iHeartRadio. Just look for 1470 WWNN, and you can take us with you. If you're stationary, if you are local to the South Florida area, or you're local to a computer anywhere that has internet access, all you have to do is go to our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. You can click on there. There's at the top of the page where it says the Real Estate Show. You can click on the Listen Live button. If you tune in at 5 p.m. Remember, we are live. This is a live show 5 days a week, live at 5 times. And that's Eastern time. And as we announced yesterday, big announcement that in addition to our live at 5 edition of the Real Estate Show, we are also now going to be replayed, all of our shows for the week, starting at 9 p.m. Sunday evening. So you can have a little binge listen to the Real Estate Show, get all of your Real Estate Show all in one spot. Just tune in any one of those places, 9 p.m. Sunday nights, in addition to our live at 5 days a week. So, one more place you can also find us is on our Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show, you can watch and join us, TGIF, as Marianne is saying right now, on our live Facebook page. And you can text us comments, questions, and every once in a while, maybe drop us a thumbs up, a like, and share what we're doing here, empowering more of you out there to own, operate, and benefit from real estate. Everybody is in real estate one way or another. The difference is some people are in real estate, some people are just on real estate. Those people in real estate get all the benefits, the income, the tax benefits, and all of the intangibles that go along with having a tangible asset. We're going to talk about that in today's show. And the people on real estate who may not own real estate, they are paying those people in real estate either through rent or their work efforts, working to pay the man who pays the rent. So anyway, we're glad that you joined us here. We want to help you to leverage your way to whatever it is that you want to do. Real estate, that was our theme on Monday. So let's just jump right into that. Monday, we talked about how real estate is the vehicle. And in my modest and honest, humble opinion, it is the best. It is the ideal vehicle to get you to retirement, to financial independence. And we talked about that, and we laid out a number of different reasons, that anybody can do it. You don't need a formal education to do it. You don't even need a license if you don't want to, in order to be in real estate, to own real estate, get the benefits of real estate. And we talked about as well, as it compares to other investments. Think about this. I call this, my 5 point. A star has 5 points. And number one, investment real estate provides monthly, recurring passive income. And if you do it right, the automatic landlord way, which is what we're going to talk about next week, by the way, I'm giving you a little sneak peek into next week. But monthly recurring passive income done the right way, the automatic landlord way, it's income. Number two, tax advantages between depreciation, which is an expense that I get to write off on my taxes that I don't even have to write a check for. It is a benefit that real estate uniquely gets. There's a whole bunch of others between becoming a real estate professional, between accelerated depreciation, between expensing in investment related expenses, and I could go on and on, not to even go into the whole opportunity zone conversation that there is. So there's lots and lots of tax benefits, and there's tax sheltered income from real estate and so forth. Next is the equity buildup. An equity buildup over the years, actually, we have kind of refined it. There's actually two types of equity buildup. There is the natural equity buildup that happens as a result of paying down your mortgage, right? Every mortgage payment has a little tiny bit of principal payment that reduces the mortgage balance and increases your equity. And that happens naturally, passively. You can actively increase the equity in your property by increasing the square footage, enclosing certain areas, updating and modernizing kitchens, replacing, neglected or outdated or worn out. So you can add value. You can force the equity up. You can buy a depressed or distressed property and then bring it back to its full market value, thereby forcing the equity up. There's a lot of different ways. It's a whole show all by itself. And then you have a third benefit, which is the appreciation of property. That doesn't happen in every market, and we call it, we look at it sort of as the icing on the cake. When it happens, it's wonderful, and I'll tell you that the big money in real estate is made by holding on the property over time, continuing to get the tax benefit, the tax sheltered income, allowing the equity to grow. But then when you have these phases of appreciation, and remember, I could invest $10,000 in a $100,000 property, putting 10% down. But if the market goes up 10% and the real estate goes up 10%, $110,000 property becomes $110,000, my equity didn't go up 10%. My equity went up 100%. It doubled because my 10%, $10,000 down payment plus the $10,000 in appreciation, I just doubled my money in a 10% rising market. So I've got something else called leverage, which is the fifth point. So, all of those things were some of the things we talked about other reasons. This is a form of investing that I can do remotely. I can do it from anywhere. I can be on the beach in Costa Rica and managing my rental properties from a distance, or I can even outsource having my properties managed and still benefit from the recurring passive income. So there's no question in anyone's mind. In fact, most people, I probably didn't have to explain all of that for people to agree that real estate can be the best vehicle to leverage, to launch yourself, to achieve your financial independence. And that's what we talk about on our Mondays, is always sort of setting the tone, setting the basis, the foundation of what the week is going to be. And then we lay out the week ahead, talking about, for example, the different processes that we're using in real estate, the different tools, tips, and techniques, which is our Tools, Tips, and Techniques Tuesday. And that's what we were talking a lot about in the Tuesday edition of the Real Estate Show. Now, the highlight of the week this week, and by the way, each one of these shows, you can hear them in their entirety. All you have to do is go to one of two places. Either go to automaticlandlord.com. You can click on the Real Estate Show notes, and you'll see in chronological order, going back many years. I lost count of how many years that we've been archiving there on our website, shows that go back, not all the way back to our original 22 years, but probably at least halfway back that far. So there's literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of real estate information. All you have to do is go back there, look at the title. You'll see what the show is all about, and you can listen to that and bathe yourself in real estate knowledge to your heart's content. Now, don't forget, we still do have the most recent set of shows on our Sunday night show now, starting 9 p.m. Literally 2 straight hours of shows, 4 shows in total, right back to back there, starting on Sunday night. Now, on Wednesday, we talked about, and what we always talk about is our midweek report. And we like to sort of take a step back, and in the context of the market that's going on out there, we will then talk about what we're doing and what our position is, what our outlook is, and, you know, for what it's worth, what we anticipate is going to happen. And so the Wednesday shows is one of our more popular shows because it really takes what we're talking about and puts it in the context of the reality of the market. And you know, I'm going to take a quick break before I get into that conversation of the what the marketplace is in general for real estate. Let me just tell you that I have been saying that, you know, we've been watching the stock market, particularly the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500, basically being defying gravity. You know, the pandemic came and it should have knocked the stock market on its rear end. And it did, right, when it was first announced, because it was something completely new, unexpected, and there was a high degree of uncertainty. And remember, I'll repeat this all the time, the stock market hates uncertainty. It loves certainty and predictability. And so when the pandemic was announced, we saw a huge drop. And then guess what? A week later, it basically recovered that drop and has been defying gravity ever since. We had the monumental, monstrous wave of unemployment as a result of that announcement of the worldwide pandemic. The stock market took it, shrugged it off, and continued to defy gravity. Then on top of that, we had this, you know, tumultuous final weeks of the election and the election, and then the post-election, and from you know, all of the conspiracy conversations to all of the rioting from the left, from the right, and the stock market shrugged that off as well. And I said that as long as the stock market perceives that there's still some stability in the administration, being the president, the Senate, and Congress, that it was going to continue to go. But the minute that it starts to see, and it's not a matter of if it will pull back, it's a matter of when it will pull back. Well, we started to see the first signs yesterday and today with 2 down days back to back. And now, in fact, I'm going to save that conversation. Why did the stock market take a big step back the last 2 days? We're going to talk about what that means going into the future and why still real estate is the place to be. And I'll tell you all of that in our conversation in the second half of the show. So you're listening to The Real Estate Show. I'm going to give you out a quick number that you might want to jot down. When I come back, I'm going to tell you why this is our dedicated text line for The Real Estate Show. And we'll talk about that, why in there. But the number is 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. That and the automaticlandlord.com are your 2 things you want to remember. Write them down unless you're driving. But we'll be right back right after these words. So while we're on our break here, I'm going to jump off. It'll be a fairly short break. But to you, Marianne, yes, we can catch up, and just been a super busy week. Let's try to catch up either tomorrow or Monday, either one, just not Sunday. And you missed a great call last night. So in fact, for any of you and all of you that are on Facebook, I'm inviting you to come to our big round table. We had, hey, Felipe, we had a cool meeting. We had people from Texas, from California, from Pennsylvania, from Florida on there, from makeup artists to the rich and famous, to product brokers, to construction people. It was a great little meeting. And so you guys are invited. All you have to do, if you want to get the instructions, we had an open session with no passwords, just the Zoom link. So for those of you that want the Zoom link, just text the word big table to 561-861-2366. We're coming back. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate. Now in its 22nd, going on 23rd year here on The Real Estate Show. We are live Monday through Friday. So if this is your first time catching the show, we're live right here where you're listening to us, either on our AM stations or on our FM stations. On iHeartRadio, just look for 1470 WWNN. Or if all else fails, or if it's easier just to remember, just go to automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. And you can click on the real estate show at the top there. And you can either choose to listen to us live at 5, Monday through Friday, or our show also 9 p.m., same locations, all of the stations, etc. Or if you miss any of the shows, you want to catch up, or you just want to download and listen to us on your schedule, then just go to automaticlandlord.com and you can download it over there. And just a reminder, we are also doing this live on Facebook. So I've been talking to our Facebook Live folks during the break. Now, we were talking about our Wednesday midweek report, and I actually updated it on the fly here, talking about the Dow Jones sliding today, closed down 170 points. Yesterday closed down another 150 points. And in the scope of 30,000, that's not a huge thing, but it is the beginning, and what I believe is Wall Street's beginning to worry a little bit, because the reality is starting to hit, and especially with the recent announcement of a new stimulus plan right off the bat, $1.9 trillion. Sit down for a second and just write out that number on a piece of paper for you to get a feel for it. Forget being a millionaire. Forget being 1,000 millionaire or a billionaire. Forget being 1,000 billion, because that's 1 trillion. And we're now talking about close to 2 trillion on top of the other 900 billion that we just did, on top of the other 1 point something billion dollars. So, we're racking up at the rate of $1 trillion a piece. And that's what Wall Street is starting to have a little worry about, because now the Feds are going to start looking at, and we started to see on our midweek report, we started talking about the bond yields rising a bit, and interest rates rising. Now, in theory, the idea of raising interest rates right now is not what the Fed is going to announce, because with a high unemployment and a very fragile economic market right now, raising interest rates would be just adding salt to the wound. So, but the yield, with when you start flooding the market with all of this money, trillions and trillions of dollars, you have something else, the I word, inflation, begin to rear its ugly head. And when inflation starts to appear, that's when you start to see the rise in interest rates. And for all of you holding real estate, not necessarily a terrible thing. If you've got good quality investment grade real estate that is cash flowing on the positive, well, solid or hard assets are the place to be. So you want to hold on to your real estate through that ride, assuming you can. And that's why, we're going to talk more about the whole moratorium next week, because let's let that part get defined. But let me just talk about what's going on right now, that with the Dow Jones Industrial starting to show a rise, a fall because of the rise in interest rates, what you're seeing is big industry and the commercial arena start to say, uh-oh, if interest rates go up, and there's been no secret in the campaign of the president-elect that he intended to raise taxes. He wants to raise taxes on corporations. Well, that's Wall Street, my friends, and they're not going to like that. And if they start seeing momentum of big spending, big taxes, obviously you're going to see that negative effect on the Dow Jones and the stock market. So real estate more than ever. And I'm not saying, by the way, that real estate prices won't suffer a little bit either. But in the end, in the long game, real estate holds its value. I mean, you can look back at the Great Depression, the Great Recession. You can look back at every major crisis ever. What happens to real estate? Is real estate less today than it was during, before any of those things? The answer is clearly no. And that's why I wanted to really spend this entire week talking about why real estate is the vehicle, why that, in fact, on Tuesday, we were talking a little bit about how you need to have a plan B. And for real estate as a plan B is a wise choice, because, they can take your Bitcoin, the Bitcoin can evaporate into the ether. They can commandeer your retirement accounts or change the tax laws that make them advantageous or disadvantageous. But to this date, and the other good news that you'll take maybe a little bit of comfort in knowing, is that all of our Washington politicians own real estate. So they're on board with keeping most of those deductions and most of those advantages because they also bought real estate. Now, it may become politically fashionable to take away some of those benefits, but we have so many more benefits than any other investment vehicle out there that even if they do take something away, my opinion is that real estate will still be a go-to investment. After all, they're not making any more land. They are making more people. So the demand will continue to rise in spite of and through the crisis. The supply, my friends, is still the same. So let's talk for a quick second before I jump into our Thursday show, which was also a great show. It's Thursdays is our About the Money. And then I'll come back even if we have time to talk a little bit of one of the things that I didn't mention today, but that we did talk about in the midweek report was the buyer and seller sentiment, how that's changed about the housing market as COVID surges again. We talked about something very interesting. And that was that although gradually improving, delinquencies are still remaining very high, and that's going to be very much part of our conversation in our next week's shows. But another interesting thing that we talked about was our 1/3 of remote workers who relocated during the pandemic. And in the new era of pandemic-fueled remote work, and we're going to see that become permanent for many people. And many people, there are a good number of people that already were informed that they are now permanently remote workers. Others are still uncertain as to how long. Others are uncertain as to what percentage. They might not be 100% remote workers, but they may become part-time or sometime remote workers. And so, but what we have found, and what's very interesting is that especially in the higher income remote workers, they have chosen to relocate out of the urban areas. We've been talking a lot about that during the weeks there. And so that's a very interesting point. And the other thing, don't forget on our Thursday show, and in fact, you ought to go ahead and listen to our Thursday show, the About the Money show, where we talked about the first-time home buyer super program, zero down payment, and I gave out the code of DPA, down payment assistance. If you want to learn how to buy a house with zero money down, if you can show the credit, if you can show the income, and the credit, by the way, was only 580. If you've got a 580 credit score and can prove that you can make the payment, I can show you how to buy a house. Stop paying for other people's dreams. Stop renting. Give us a call. Text us at 561-861-2366. DPA for down payment assistance. This is permanent grant money that you don't have to pay back. These down payment assistance programs that we have for you, the real estate to show listeners, all you have to do is text DPA to 561-861-2366. The music is coming in. I want to tell you more about our investor program, but I don't have time. Listen to our Thursday show at automaticlandlord.com. In the meantime, drive safe out there, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dan. Take care, Brian. Take care, man.